You take that one, that's for you, sir.
Well, thank you for that nice warm greeting, but you silly people, haven't you got a home to go to? Anyway, fire away.
Thank you. That's what you get with John. He comes out, but he's concerned about you. How are you, John? Yeah, chill. We can probably get one of them to be a footstool if you want. Does anyone want to be John's footstool? Generally, come up. You can kidding.
Go on.
How are you finding Brussels? Are you enjoying it?
Fabulous.
How are the people?
Wonderful.
Really?
And the women sensationally beautiful.
What?
And all the men so intelligent they are well above average.
You see, I found it the reverse. All the women seriously intelligent, but the men sensationally beautiful. So yeah, thank you for coming to Comic-Con Brussels. We're very happy to have you. I'm just going to show you, because I've started to figure out the crowds. Who's here because they like a little franchise called Lord of the Rings? Now, let's guess. Indiana Jones? Great. I'm here because I like sliders. Thank you. This is the problem with you, John. You have so many things these guys love, it's hard to know what to fit in the short time we have together.
Well, I don't want to talk about bloody films anyway.
Don't then. I'll talk to you about whatever you want.
I'm more interested in what we have in common. Do you know, I saw a figure the other day which suggested that if we total up the number of human beings that have been on the planet, it would come to 107 billion. All the generations of mankind that have gone before us, all added up. Now, one of the things that we have in common is that everyone in this room has had a mother and a father. Each of them had a mother and father. And if we go back to 1066, we find the number of our parents and our distant relatives more than 107 billion. The truth of the matter is, our lineage folds in. And all of us who've had an ancestor who left Africa more than 70,000 years ago, we're relatives. And I find that just amazing. That's far more interesting than Lord of the Rings, isn't it? But anyway, okay, carry on.
No, I was rinsed. Do you know what I love about that? You could have finished that, and as soon as we asked them to ask you a question, they would have gone, in Lord of the Rings. Is that the sort of thing you enjoy, though? Lineage, history, things like that, John?
Love it. Love history. History is the only way we can avoid making future mistakes. So if you don't know your history, you're in real trouble.
I mean, this is, for me, I'll go down this road. Do you believe we can achieve a society that is devoid of mistakes then, by learning?
No. But you see, all our ancestors had the problem of how do we pass on essential knowledge to the next generation. If you don't pass on essential knowledge, then every experience is lost and has to be rediscovered. One of the problems our ancestors had was, how do we record and the events that are important? Every single one of us are descended from teenage girls. Why do I say that? Because until the end of the Ice Age, the life expectancy of a woman was 21 years. That's the average life expectancy. And in Roman times, the life expectancy of a woman was only 25 years. It is only relatively recently that women have lived as long as or more than men. And I think that one of the reasons why men have condescended to women, have dismissed their views and opinions, is because a 35-year-old hunter-gatherer man was hugely mature and experienced. But the women in his clan group were all essentially teenage girls.
Just going to stop you for 1 second, John. Who is still following this at the moment? See, I was just checking because these guys are also translating this in their heads. This is the best Q&A we've had yet. I say Q&A, I meant lecture. Carry on.
So my theory is this. It's only recently that men have had to deal with grown women. And we have no epigenetic experience of doing that. And that is why we screw up.
Do you know, I'm going to pick you up on one point there. This is the only time men have had to deal with grown women, but for the rest of history, women have had to deal with men. So well done. Well done.
Anyway, it's just an observation that I was making. But
so back to your question about Lord of the Rings.
Okay, let's open the floor.
No, do you want to open the floor? Generally, I love this, and these guys, I can see on their faces, they're both in awe and like, yeah, he's going to do this. And then, John, if you want to talk this stuff, so I tell you what, you said it was up to us to impart wisdom. If you could impart one bit of knowledge on a crowd like this, what would it be?
Carpe diem.
Yes. And now for some questions about Lord of the Rings. Generally, we are going to open up the floor. Unfortunately, we do have a short window of time, but yeah, I'm gonna push for a series of these lectures. We've got Beck over there who can get out to you if you do have a question. Raise your hand, and we will try and get you. I'm going to come to you because you're on the front. But Beck, if you could get to the gentleman who looks like an evil world version of me, that would be lovely. So yes, your question, please.
Hello. So I know that Viggo Mortensen was a bit of a prankster on set, and I was wondering if he ever tried to prank you.
I love Viggo Mortensen. He must be the studio's nightmare. Viggo is wildly intelligent. He could earn a living, well, he does earn a living as an international film star. He could also earn a living as a photographer. He is a world-class and exhibited photographer. He is also a world-class painter. Do you remember that film he did with Michael Douglas, where he plays the young artist who is having an affair with Michael Douglas's wife, and he conspires with the husband to try and kill her. There's a shot in a studio there, the artist's studio. All the paintings in that studio are Viggo's. And he's not a bad poet either. I love him. And no, he never tried pranking me, but I do remember a wonderful evening. We were deep in the countryside in New Zealand, and it was about a 3-hour journey back to the hotel. So we decided to stay in our trailers, and Viggo got his fishing rod out and caught us a couple of trout, and we cooked the trout over a fire. I love the man.
I mean, yeah, that's an incredible answer. We're probably going to have about time for 2 more questions because this is the best Q&As we've had. Yeah, go on, we'll go there, and then we'll come to you, sir.
Hello, it's a big honor to have a chance to ask you something. Since you started with our ancestry, what is the character from the movies that you play that you would like to play some of his ancestors, like Gimli's ancestor, Salak's ancestor,
nice.
in the case that you have a chance?
I don't think I would want to play another dwarf. Why would you want to be one of 13 when you've been one of one? Is the answer I gave when I was asked to do The Hobbit. And I will say that at the premiere of The Hobbit, Peter Jackson came on the stage and said, well, having done this, having worked with 13 dwarves, I now realize why Walt Disney set for himself the target of 7, the limit of 7.
Amazing. We had a question over this way, if you want to come. Oh.
Hello. To continue on the knowledge for future generation, if you have any advice to give in order to survive a troll attack, what would it be?
A troll attack? Oh, it's quite simply get a good dwarf with an axe. I'll sort the buggers out for you, no problem. No need to go nuclear, just turn a dwarf loose. You know, sometimes those little pointy-eared beggars with the bows and arrows help, but for real work, use an axe.
Oh, we're going to definitely go to overtime. I love how you slipped into the voice. Very nice. Any more questions? Where are you? Beck, we've got one behind you. Oh, have you got one there? Oh, yeah, we got some there, and then we will come to you. Be careful of the speaker, but yes.
Why did you choose to go to Comic-Con Belgium in Brussels? Why do you want to come?
Why did I come here? Well, first of all, I got invited. We dwarfs don't get invited back to places twice after we wrecked it the first time, but it was nice to get an invite. And the other reason is, of course, it may well be that you're not going to see many British actors after next year. If Mr. Barnier has his way, we won't be allowed to fly. Where's my axe?
Best answer ever. I assume you've been to Brussels before, though?
Bristol.
Brussels. Not
Brussels.
Bristol.
I have been to Brussels before. Let me tell you what happened. It was February the 29th, a few 29ths back. I was driving back from Germany, and suddenly my GPS went insane. It kept wanting to take me to the nearest police station, all the way. And every time I tried to stop, I couldn't find a map. And I was trying to get to Antwerp or Amsterdam to get a ferry. And I went so wrong. I know I passed through Brussels. And I got to England and thought, bloody GPS, I'm going to buy a new one. I went into Halfords in England and bought a brand new GPS and plugged it in and drove off. And it was still giving me, go to the nearest police station or something like that. Because they'd forgotten to put in February the 29th in their programming, so it couldn't find a satellite. 2 useless GPSs that worked next day.
Also, there's an incredible story, but the best start to a Netflix series I could ever imagine. I think we'd all watch that as a series, where your GPS just takes you. We have a question over here.
Hi there. Do you find it over here with the pink hair? Hello.
I love that hair. I could do
Thank
that.
you so much. I can lend it to you later if you want.
Thank you.
I mean, if you want to pass it forward, we'll put it on him.
No. Don't interrupt the question because...
It's an important question.
Exactly.
What did you felt the first time that you were told you were going to play an elvish king on the Shannara Chronicles?
I will tell you exactly what I felt. From dwarf to elf king, eat your heart out, Orlando Bloom.
Okay, we've got a question down here from a zombie.
Hello.
You're not looking too good, let me tell you.
I feel good.
Oh, good.
In one of the movies, you had a drinking contest with Orlando Bloom, and he won from you. I was just wondering.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Let me get back to it. Orlando Bloom did what?
He won the drinking contest.
He what? You poor deluded zombie. No wonder you're dead. The truth of the matter is, you thought that I fell off the chair, didn't you? There was a silver coin on the floor, and I wanted to grab it before Orlando did.
Please, can we get some more questions? I don't want this to end. I've got this one back. I've got one down here.
Hello. First of all, thank you for coming to Brussels, and that's an excellent tie. I wanted to say that. It's wonderful. My question is, what is the most fun thing for you about acting?
You know, I guess the initial fun thing is I get to do what every child does as a grown-up. I get to play, and that's rather fun. The other thing is that every character you play, not only do you find it from inside yourself, but in a way it sort of adds to you. And the most extraordinary thing I think that has happened to me over the last 10, 15 years is I've been coming to fan conventions. At first I thought, oh God, this is something I've got to do. And slowly I have fallen in love with my audience. My audience, it teaches me extraordinary things. And it sounds so daft to say it, but actually I had become a better person for actually paying real attention to my audience. All actors must understand, all writers must understand, that the audience is what matters. There was a very famous poet and critic called Dr. Johnson, and he said, the drama's laws, the drama's patrons give, and we who live to please must please to live. And that should be engraven on the heart of every actor or writer or entertainer. It is about the audience. It is about making the audience comfortable and caring for the audience. And, you know, no matter how smart you think you are or how successful you think you have been, we need to remind ourselves about that. In the end, it's not just about Gimli. It's about the way Gimli changes and interacts with the audience, and the way the audience changed Gimli in a way. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's a beautiful note to end on. We've nearly gone to time. Do you want to take one or two more, or it's entirely two? We've got one more question. Given how, yeah, this guy's had it.
At the beginning, I would like to stress that I want to Orlando about it. But how much fun did you have, and how did you film the scene in Helm's Deep when Viggo Mortensen throws you to the bridge?
What?
Let me rephrase it. When you make a rather longish jump to the bridge at Helm's Deep.
Well, yes. Well, my friend, yes, the Strider, big fella. I would say that I could have done it absolutely securely by myself. But yes, he did toss me. No, he did not toss me. Nobody tosses a dwarf. Nobody. But incidentally, what's wonderful about Gimli. Gimli he is the best of us. He is the worst of us. He is. In Gimli we see the meanness of spirit, the xenophobia, the aggression, the hostility, the belligerence that exists in us. But we also see in him the warmth and the absolute loyalty towards his friends, and that absolute courage. And these are the characteristics that we, as human beings, would aspire to. What is great about Gimli is that we see both of our sides in the same character. And I think that's one of the reasons he's so appealing. The other thing is, of course, he is funny because he doesn't know he is small. Everybody else may have noticed it, he doesn't. And that's intrinsically amazing, isn't it?
John, give a round of applause there. We are unfortunately running to the end of time, so if there's anything you want to say to Brussels, because if anyone's going to something very eloquent and give a good message to them, it's going to be you. So the floor is yours, John.
Thank you very much. And let me just say, thank you so much for having me and all my other fellow actors and bringing your amazing and interesting lives to us. It's glorious. It enriches us as actors, and it's rewarding for us as well to be able to see that sometimes what we do has moved you and touched you or entertained you. Thank you for your generosity of spirit. God bless you all.
John Rhys-Davies, everyone. Thank you so much.
And thank you for being such a marvelous host.
I'm blushing. One more time, John Rhys-Davies. I think he's going to do all right, that guy. Stick around, we have our last Q&A in like 2 minutes with Stanislav, who is Victor Crumb from Harry Potter. I have to do a quick changeover.